RATT with Walkin the dog. You want to tune flat for this CVT lesson from my buddy Dominic. Dude, we got it, man. We keep searching for the perfect CVT lesson for you. You've been sending me videos of your playing, and as soon as I'm done dropping your tabs on the ground, let's start. So you do want to tune flat. We're gonna go real thorough on this video, man. I want to make sure that there's no solos. Took the solos completely out for you. I want you to focus strictly, man, on getting this rhythm down. It's not too crazy. It's solid. A lot of repetition in it. Warren DeMartini, though, is the man. I still have this album, too, up in these rafters somewhere. It's probably warped, but you know. So anyways, and I got did an EQ basic setup for you. This was RATT's first album that had You Think You're Tough on it, and you know, their quality after this album just went up, in my opinion, in all areas. So for basic EQ, lows 6 to 7, mid 7 to 8, highs 8 to 9. The primary effects is reverb, and they got the reverb up pretty loud, man. Not only on the guitar, but the drums. You can hear on Bobby DeBlotz when he's going, it's just big reverb. So yeah, turn your reverb up to, I don't know, I'd probably seriously, dude, go to maybe 4 on your reverb. It depends how powerful your reverb is. 3 pages. Like I said, this is all rhythm stuff. There are parts where Crosby's playing stuff a little different. You're getting the primary main guitar that's standing out. So we have this intro in section 1. Well, it's not an intro, but we're calling it section 1, and you're basically doing an E major chord in the open position. Go middle 2 A, third finger 2 D, first finger 1 G. I am hearing this G sharp in it. So it'd be, when you play, let me play it so you can hear it first. We got, so you're gonna strum strings 6 through 3 2 times, and purposely mute that index over the B string so you don't hear it. If you do hit it and it rings, it's not the end of the world, but you want to keep the separation from lows to highs, the 2 hits on them. So, and then open E and B twice. You got long rest in here. Blotz is doing the drum fills throughout. Next time around, I'm not hearing the G sharp, although you can keep it in there if you'd like. But open E, 2A, and 2D, so you can now switch to just kind of barring it here with your index. I know you've done that before. If you're not comfortable and you just want to keep this here, that's fine. Just try to mute out the G string. And like I said, if it still rings in this one, big deal. It's not. It's really not a big deal. So, but this is what I'm hearing when I listen to the studio recording. So you repeat it now, but now it's strings 6, 5, and 4, and then the 2 opens on the E and B. All right, so that one is. Let's do all of that. The other notes off that low E particularly, just let it keep ringing. Okay, and then the next one was. And then listen close. This is probably Warren. You'll hear, and I wanted to throw this in because I wanted to work with you a little bit on some fret hand muting. The next one will go. So I put the strum direction. You can alter that if you want, but basically we're coming off of this. You can catch an up, down, up. Basically the last 3 strings, or however you want to look at it, the first 3, but strings 1, 2, and 3. Don't overthink this fret hand muting. If you hit 4 strings or 5, no biggie. It's just not, you know, it's like a little filler thing. You can do that while you're transitioning from this area, because we have to bar the 12th fret on the D, G, and B with our first fingers. So, you know, it's just a way to handle it in process rather than going. But you can still do it that way. That low E will still ring, but you can do it while you're traveling up there, like. Or if you just want to go up to around that 12th fret. Now for fret hand muting, remember, what we need is D, G, and B. And I'm curving that first finger to mute the high E a little bit, right? I'm also muting the A. And then I drop these fingers down, my middle finger and third finger wind up handling string 6, and this is touching string 6, this is touching string 4. You don't have to like try to get them all perfectly spaced out. It's just a mute at the end of the day. So don't overthink it. If you're going to the spot and then starting it, The reason I went is if you go up, down, up, then you can hit the 12th fret on the D, G, and B with 2 downs, and you're in position with your strum hand. So we have, oops, I'm in the wrong spot, ain't I? Alright. If this is driving you crazy, because sometimes those little subtle things give people more trouble, you can eliminate that at first and then bring it back into play later. Because the parts that stand out are da-da, da-da. You want to keep that punchy, you know what I mean? So once those punches are in, then you can come back and add the fret hand muting. And like I said, that's probably Warren. Robin's not even doing it, I don't think. So, and then we're back to open 2-2 on the E, A, and D. And then that'll ring, and if you listen close in the background, this is Warren probably, you'll hear a whammy bar dive off the low E, like a... And just take your third finger here, and just, you don't have to hit a note, you don't have to pick it, it's a subtle thing. You just kind of need to get the open E to ring, then you grab the whammy. So that little chunk will go. Then we need open A, 14th fret on the D, G, and B, it's a bar. So just kind of like we did here, but with an open A with it. So 0, 14, 14, 14. And then in between, you'll hear this. 14 D and G, 16 D and G, 14 D and G. So when you go to the 16, don't lift the 14, so we got to go back to it. Alright, so you can do downs or down, up, down. Doesn't matter on that. You got to jump back. So from this, not loud in the mix, but it's in the mix. All right. So after that, we're doing the open 2-2 E, A, D. Whammy again on the low E. And then 12 D, G, and B again, twice. And then open 2-2 E, A, D twice. That's it. All right. So that wraps up section 1. That is from the beginning. 0 seconds up to 35 seconds. Next part, the main hook of the song. You guys know this is, or you guys, and particularly Dominic, Aerosmith song. You know that, Dominic. You know your music. Yeah, it's an Aerosmith tune that Rat covered. So check this out. Here's this one. And there's Robin's version and Warren. Slightly little different things, but not really. It's going to go like this. Oops. So open E, quick rest on that, which you can do by sticking your hand here, or this, or both. Pinky, bar the 5th fret on the A and D. You can stick a few fingers behind it because he's doing, I call it a blues bend, but it's like a quarter step. And then bar the 2nd fret, A and D. Bar the 5th fret, E and A with your pinky. And then bar the 2nd fret on the E and A and hit that. Okay, that's one variation in this section, okay, which is 36 seconds to 39. So on this part we have, and then do 2 open E's palm muted, and then 2nd fret A and D. A lot of similar stuff right in here. You'll go from the 2 AD to the 5 AD with your 1st and 4th finger. And like I said, if you need to, when you go to this 5th fret, back it with a few fingers, because I know this outside finger, you know, a lot of people struggle with it. You get more stability and support if you can drop a few down. They can also help bend it, even though it's a slight quarter step bend. Then go 2nd fret AD, 5th fret E and A with the pinky, and then this time go to the 3rd fret on the low E with your 1st finger and do a quarter step bend. Okay, so that is section 2A. You'll see why I set it up like that in a second. Then section 2B comes in, and this is almost the same thing, but it'll go open E, back to the 5th fret A and D, quarter step bend, 2nd fret A and D, 1st finger, 5th fret E and A, 4th finger, 1st finger, 3rd fret E, no, you don't have to bend it. And then we got, I gotta turn that over. No, I don't. That one don't have a back page to it. Okay, so it'll go. That's why I put it in section 2B, because when it repeats those, you'll have better control over it. It'll make more sense in the tabs. So section 2B is this. Section 2A was this. So you'll see, these tabs will clear that up. That's 40 seconds to 43 seconds, section 2B. But let me show you that end part, which was 5th fret on the D. Now there's a couple ways you can go about this, Dominic. You can look at it like a finger exercise and have a finger for each fret, 5, 4, 3, and 2 with finger 4, 3, 2, 1, and go down up on each. That seems too weird, which I think that's a good way to do it anyways, but you can always use one finger. Doesn't make it wrong either way. You get more benefit by doing it this way. But I know you want to get a song on these CBT lessons that you can just play along with, so you have to experiment with both. And then open D and 2A. Alright, then we got section 2A one time, section 2B one time. Now you're starting to see why I did a 2A and a 2B. Then section 2A 6 times, which is just that first half that was going, it's doing the Oops, I'm missing it. Yeah. So that whole thing will go 6 times. Then when you end it, leading into the chorus, it's open E, 2A, 2D. I would bar that. Make sure you're muting the G. Actually, make sure you're muting all of them. If you do, you can just hit all of them, and you're only going to hear the top 3, right? If you're a little nervous about that, just emphasize on strings 5, 4, and 3. Or no, 6, 5, and 4, which is E, A, and D. Now leading into the chorus, grab the fret 3 on the low E string. We're going to pick that and instantly slide to 12 and slide back to 3. Don't go like, it's just a feel thing. It's not an exact science. If you slide a little further, no biggie. If it's a little short, no biggie. Because, as a guitar player, Warren wouldn't do it exactly the same. Those are just little things that us guitar players throw in there. Okay, then we got, let me play the chorus for you so you can hear it. And then we're going to have this, get to that in a second, but that's actually all part of section 3, which is 106 to 120. Alright, so open A, 2D, hit that. It's the old blues riff. Short rest there, and then here's the kind of the glue of this section. Open A, palm mute the open A, go 4th fret D, pinch harmonic. Some of them have little vibratos, don't sweat that so much. Try to get the pinch. If you can't, it's still okay. Go for the rhythm here. We want to make sure these beats are jiving with you. Do it again, but go open A to 5D. Palm mute the A though. Open A, palm mute again to 4D. Open A, palm mute, and then 2, 4 on the D, palm muted. So all the fretted notes are kind of pinch harmonic, just not Zakk Wylde pinch harmonic, but you know what I mean. Now we're going to do the same exact thing, but we're going to move it up to string 6 and 5. So, same beat and everything. Right? So if you have it here, you have it here. Then we're going to move into this part, which is probably the toughest part. There's a couple places to play this. Warren has real long fingers. This is probably where it's at. 2A, 4D, first and third finger, very critical. And you're going to hit, so that string's 5 and 4. You're going to hit it 2 times. Stretch with your pinky up to fret 6. I know it's a long ways, unless you're Warren. Keep that first finger on 2D. Lower your thumb though, because that's how you will get more of a stretch. If it's up here, it's going to restrict how far your fingers are going to stretch. So don't feel weird about dropping that thumb down. So, and then go back to the 2-4 AD 3 times. So you have, and then back to the 2-6. 1, 2, change. 1, 2, 3, change. And then a quick rest to set your hand with the strings. Next part, open A, 2D. You're going to hit those 2 strings twice. Open A, 4D, pull off the 2. Pretty cool part. Make sure when you pull that you get the volume you need. Don't just lift off. Kind of snap it, because in essence this kind of becomes your pick, right? So you'll go. And if you don't pull out enough, that open A is going to dominate it. In fact, you can eliminate the open A for part of this and go, if that's an issue, okay? That'll assure that you're getting a solid, loud pull off, and then go back and drop the open A with it. Pinky 5 on the D, hit the open A with it twice, and then third finger 4D, hit the open A with it once. So, and then there's a run that Warren does. We are staying away from the solos with this CVT lesson. I want you to just get the rhythm. Fret hand muting, it's right around fret 3 and 4, because fret hand muting creates a type of a harmonic once in a while. And I can hear those tones in there, so if you want to kind of emulate that, it's not a big deal. But you know what fret hand muting is. We worked on it earlier. Top 2 strings or 3 strings. You would count them, if you need to, as 16th notes. 1 E and a 2 E and a. You're going to do that 3 times. And then go 1 E and a 2 E. So you have 6 times. Alright, so 24 plus 6, it's 30 strums. Then you're back to section 2A 6 times, coming out of that into open E, 2A, 2D. With the rest. We go over to page 3. Open E, 3E, quarter step bend with the middle finger, and an open E. So that sounds like this. That leads you into the chorus, which is the. Alright, but there's no star. So on your tabs you'll see a star, which is the fret hand muting part that you don't do. You'll still do the. But we don't do the. Instead, well, you're still going to do it, but it's not as long. Or longer, actually. It's 64 times. So if you counted 1 E and 2 E and you would do that 8 times. And that's why I'm saying maybe count at 1 E and a 2 E and it'll probably be easier for you to count. If you don't have to count, that's even better. But you do have it laid out for you. The solo behind, or the rhythm behind the guitar solo comes in at 156, and that's open E, 2A, and then middle finger 2D, slide to 5. Let me play it first. Oops. So you'll do the slide from 2D to 5, first finger 4D, pinky 7A, middle finger 5A, pinky 7E. So you have. Okay, we're gonna have to go to part 2 on this, I think. Well, we might be able to fit it. 8 times of all that, then do the same thing but drop down a string. So open A, 2D. Do that 2 times. Then you go 2A, 4D. Yeah, and you'll go. 9 times with the rest. Then we got section 2A repeat 6 times, section 3 1 time, no star 1. Open E, 2A, 2D. And then you do the 5th fret A and D. That's a repeat. Then go 5 4 3 2. So 0 1 2 on the A, 2A 4D, 2 palm mutes on the A, 2nd fret, then the power chord. So it's, and then 0 2 twice on the A D, 0 4 once, and then 0 2 2 2 3 times. 3rd fret E, quarter step bend. Then you do section 1, fade out to the end of the song. And we fit all this on one. If you have questions, but I think we found the one, Dominic, this should be the one. Talk to you soon, buddy.